Why your cat always goes to the person who hates cats. You know exactly how this goes. Someone comes to visit who doesn't like cats, or is allergic or nervous, or simply not interested. They sit down and say nothing about your cat. They make no effort to engage. They may actively avoid eye contact with the animal. And within 10 minutes, your cat is sitting in their lap. Meanwhile, you, the person who feeds this cat, who talks to this cat, who has spent years building what you thought was a relationship, are sitting across the room, getting nothing. It's one of the most universally experienced and least understood things about living with a cat. And the explanation, when you actually hear it, has a twist you weren't expecting. Because the reason your cat gravitates toward people who dislike them reveals something important, not just about those people, but about what you might be doing wrong. The person who ignores your cat is sending the safest signal possible. Let's start with what the cat-avoidant visitor is actually doing from your cat's perspective. They sat down, they became still. They didn't look at the cat, they didn't reach toward the cat. They directed their attention away from the animal entirely. Their body language communicated, in every channel available to a cat reading the room, "You are not my focus, you are not a threat, and I am making no demands of you." From a cat's threat assessment framework, this is an exceptionally favorable profile. Cats are prey animals as much as they are predators. Their brain is wired to continuously evaluate the environment for potential threats and to seek out the lowest threat positions available. A person sitting quietly, looking away, making no sudden movements, requiring nothing, that person is by every metric your cat uses the safest individual in the room. The approach is not affection. At first, it's investigation. Your cat is assessing an entity that has all the signatures of non-threat. And in the absence of threat, curiosity takes over. They approach to gather more information about this unusually non-demanding presence. 2. The people who love cats do everything wrong. Now consider what everyone else in the room is doing. Cat lovers, the people who genuinely want to interact with your cat, tend to make consistent behavioral errors the moment an animal enters the room. They make eye contact and hold it. They lean forward. They extend a hand immediately. They make sounds directed at the cat. They track the cat's movements. Some reach toward the cat before the cat has made any movement toward them. To a cat, this is a threatening behavioral profile. Direct, sustained eye contact is a confrontational signal in feline communication. Among cats, it indicates a potential challenge or threat, and cats break eye contact regularly as a de-escalating social signal. A human who stares at a cat with wide, excited eyes is, in the cat's visual language, doing something that reads as aggression. Leaning forward increases perceived body size and narrows the space between you and the cat, both signals that register as assertive or encroaching. Reaching immediately eliminates the cat's control over the pace of the interaction, and focused, anticipatory attention means the cat cannot relax because they're being watched. The person who loves cats and wants to connect is inadvertently telling the cat to stay back, and the person who couldn't care less is accidentally sending an invitation. 3. Your cat is reading the whole room, not just one person. This behavior isn't only about the individual interactions. It's also about spatial dynamics. When multiple people are in a room, your cat is performing a continuous environmental scan. They're tracking where each person is, what each person is doing, and which position in the room offers the best balance of safety, observation, and exit access. The cat-averse visitor, sitting still in one place with no agenda, offers a stable and predictable anchor point. Your cat can predict exactly what this person will do, nothing, which makes their position in the room one of the safest available. From that position, the cat can observe the rest of the room comfortably. This is why cats so often choose the lap or the immediate proximity of exactly the person who wants them least. That person is the most predictable, the most still, and the least likely to initiate something unexpected. The lap itself, in many cases, is simply the highest and most enclosed thermal resting spot available. The person it belongs to is almost incidental. They just happen to be offering the best geometry. There's a signal all cat lovers should know. If you want a cat who doesn't know you, someone else's cat, a rescue cat, a cat in a new environment to approach you, the strategy is almost completely counterintuitive. Don't look at them. Sit down, face slightly away, make yourself boring. If you want to offer a signal of interest, extend one finger downward toward the floor and let it sit there passively, below the level of their nose, without moving it toward them. Then wait. Researchers studying cat-human interaction in low-stress settings found that cats approached unfamiliar humans significantly faster and spent more time in contact with them when those humans avoided direct eye contact, sat rather than stood, and allowed the cat to close the remaining distance at their own pace rather than reaching toward the cat. The principle is simple. Take away everything that registers as a demand or a threat, and what's left is an environment where curiosity can operate freely. Subscribe if this is already changing how you think about how you approach cats, because the implication for your own cat is the part most people miss. 5. What this means for the cat who already lives with you. Here's where this becomes personal. If your own cat sometimes seems to avoid you, or is less affectionate than you expect, or gravitates toward family members who pay them less attention, some version of this same dynamic may be at work. Cats who are overhandled, who receive a lot of unsolicited attention, who are frequently picked up or approached or engaged with regardless of their own signals, often develop an avoidance pattern. It's not that they don't like the person, it's that the interaction with that person has become something they need to manage rather than something they can seek on their terms. The family member or roommate who barely acknowledges the cat, who sits quietly and lets the cat come and go, who offers occasional contact without agenda. That person tends to receive the most consistent and genuine affiliation from the cat, not because the cat prefers them in some abstract way, but because interacting with them is safe, predictable, and fully within the cat's control. This is the most actionable thing in this video. If you want your cat to come to you more, do less. Look at them less. Reach for them less. Let them make the first move more often. And when they come to you, let them be in charge of how long it lasts. 6. The power of looking away. There's a specific technique that works, and it works in a time frame short enough that you can test it today. When your cat is in the room but not approaching you, find them with a brief glance and then slowly, deliberately look away. Break the eye contact first. Turn your body slightly away from them. Relax your posture. Become, for a few minutes, the most uninteresting thing in the room. Watch what happens. In many cases, cats will begin moving toward the person who has made themselves visually neutral. because that's what safety looks like from their side of the room. And safety is the precondition for everything. For curiosity, for contact, for affection. This isn't manipulation, it's communication in the language your cat actually speaks. 7. The lesson the cat hater is accidentally teaching. Here's the final reframe. The person who doesn't like cats isn't doing anything clever. They're not strategizing. They're not trying to attract the animal. They're just being themselves, distracted, uninterested, still, and the cat is responding to that as naturally as they'd respond to any other environmental signal. What it reveals, though, is something that cat owners who struggle with connection sometimes need to hear. Your cat doesn't want you to love them less. They want you to love them on their timeline, on their terms, in the form they can actually receive. The intensity of your affection, however genuine, can feel like pressure in a nervous system that is built to be cautious. Not because you're doing something wrong, but because what feels like love to you, reaching, watching, engaging, registers very differently in a brain that evolved to treat focused attention as a potential threat. The best thing you can do for your relationship with your cat is to become a little bit like the person in the corner who isn't trying at all. And watch what comes to you. If this changed how you're going to interact with your cat today, subscribe. There's a lot more of this that you haven't been told.